Hello, my dear students. Welcome you all to Sri Jain Rank Zone Classes. I am your mentor and your friend for the subject biology, and I will be taking the zoology part, that is animal science. My dear students, today we are going to start with a very interesting and a trendy topic: biotechnology, principles and process. So, the emerging field which involves or which captures almost all the different type of fields nowadays is biotechnology, in which we are using the organic biomass to yield or to deliver the maximum utilities of nowadays. So let's start with biotechnology. Biotechnology, the term biotechnology was coined in 1917 by Hungarian engineer Karl Arki. So the term was given by in in 1917, right? It was used to describe large scale production of pigs. Okay, so biotechnology can be defined as the use of microorganisms, animals, or plant cells or their products to generate different products at industrial scale and services useful to human beings. Biotechnology can be defined as a use of microorganisms, animals, plant cells, or their products to generate other products at industrial scale and services useful to human beings. A powerful industry based on microbes has been developed in recent time. A careful selection of microbial strains, improved method of extraction, and purification of the product have resulted in enormous yield of different essential commodities. The use of living organisms in system or process for the manufacturing of useful products. It may involve bacteria, fungi, yeast cells, or higher plants and animals, or subsystems of any of these or isolated components from living matter. The use of living organism in systems or process for the manufacturing of useful products. When we are going to basically manufacture some useful products by the help of either algae, fungi, bacteria, yeast cells, higher plants, and animals, or their products to deliver some other products, right, of daily use or of most common commodities or utilities of nowadays. Understood? So this is a definition, it is a layman terminology, or we can say it is a most common, cheap definition, most attractive definition of biotechnology, right? When biotechnology was started, okay, so biotechnology was started with some other motive, and now the biotechnology, that is the modern biotechnology, has some other motive, right? Biotechnology, it involves the formation of recombinant DNA molecule, means a DNA molecule having the genetic sequence belonging to two different species, right? So it is the DNA manipulation biotechnology, recombinant DNA biotechnology, and genetic engineering. So there are many names which are given to biotechnology, that is DNA manipulation biotechnology, recombinant DNA technology, or genetic engineering. Old biotechnology, it was based on the natural capabilities of microorganisms like formation of citric acid, production of penicillin by Penicillium notatum. New biotechnology or the modern biotechnology is based on recombinant DNA technology. Human gene producing insulin has been transferred and expressed in bacteria like E. coli for the production of humulin, artificial insulin. Artificial insulin, right? In modern biotechnology, different type of valuable products are produced with the help of microbiology, biochemistry, tissue culture, chemical engineering and genetic engineering, molecular biology and immunology. In modern biotechnology, different type of valuable products are produced with the help of microbiology, biochemistry, tissue culture, chemical engineering, genetic engineering, molecular biology, and immunology. So all these different fields, they actually are merged, or their utilization is seen in this branch of formation of recombinant DNA with the help of modern biotechnology, right? So there are different scientists who proposed this laydown of genetic engineering or modern biotechnology. Okay, the technology nowadays, it is based on two main discoveries in bacteria. First is the presence of plasmid in bacteria, and the second is the evolution of, or the invention of, restriction endonucleases, for which Arbour, Nathan and Smith in 1970, they share the Nobel Prize in 1978. Okay, so there are two main, we can say the prime requisites or prime, parameters or the factors for this genetic engineering or recombinant DNA technology, that is presence of plasmid in bacteria, and the second is the restriction endonucleases. Plasmid bacteria, it is having a very important characteristic of undergoing replication along with and independent of chromosomal DNA. So this plasmid is basically the extra chromosomal material which can be dependent for its replication on the main DNA, the nuclear DNA or the nucleoid, or it cannot be. Principles of biotechnology. So principles of biotechnology, genetic engineering, it includes genetic engineering and chemical engineering. Okay, so a scientist, Berg in 1972 was able to introduce a gene of SV40 virus into a bacterium with the help of lambda phage. Okay, so Berg in 1972, he was able to introduce a gene of SV40, okay, into a bacterium with the help of lambda phage. So Berg is often considered as father of genetic engineering. Berg is also considered as father of genetic engineering, right? Genetic engineering, father Paul Berg. Paul Berg. It includes techniques to alter the nature of genetic material, manipulation of genetic material, DNA or RNA, to introduce these into host organisms and thus change the phenotype of the host organism. This is genetic engineering, in which we introduce or we alter the nature of genetic material to introduce these into host organism and thus change the phenotype of the host organism. Then comes chemical engineering. It involves the maintenance of sterile, contamination free in aseptic conditions, okay, for the favorable growth of or culturing of desired microorganisms in or eukaryotic cell in large quantities for the commercialization or the manufacturing of biotechnological products such as antibiotics, vaccines, enzymes, medicines, and hormones. So the principle of biotechnology involves basically two main stuffs. First is the genetic engineering and the second is chemical engineering. Genetic engineering is DNA manipulation or RNA manipulation, and chemical engineering is after making of recombinant DNA, that recombinant DNA is able to replicate under the aseptic conditions only. There should not be any other contamination of any other micro organism or any other factor which can degrade the growth of required microorganism or desirable microorganism. So it helps to produce the biological products with utmost efficiency and purity. Conceptual development of the principles of genetic engineering. Genetic engineering is a kind of biotechnology which deals with the manipulation of genetic engineering by man in vitro. So genetic engineering is a kind of biotechnology which deals with the manipulation of genetic material by man in vitro. Genetic engineering, it is a kind of biotechnology which deals with the manipulation of genetic material by man in vitro. It includes two main principles. First, presence of plasmid in bacteria which can undergo replication along with and independent of chromosomal DNA. And the second is restriction endonucleases, which was given by or proposed by or invented by Arbor, Nathan and Smith in 1970, which can break DNA at specific site. These restriction endonucleases are known as what, molecular scissor or biological scissor. All these three scientists share the Nobel Prize in 1972, 1978. Paul Berg. In 1972, Paul Berg was able to introduce a gene of SV40 virus into a bacterium with the help of lambda phage. Okay, that is bacteriophage. The father of genetic engineering, Paul Berg. Father of biotechnology, Carl Urke. Or the term biotechnology was given by Carl Urke. Okay, father of genetic engineering, Paul Berg. He was also awarded the Nobel Prize in 1980. Technique: formation of rDNA, that is recombinant DNA. The process of genetic engineering, it involves three main techniques. The first is formation of recombinant DNA or rDNA, then use of gene cloning. Okay. Second is use of gene cloning, and third is gene transfer. The first is formation of recombinant DNA, second is use of gene cloning, and the third is gene transfer. Okay. Gene transfer, it permits to isolate and introduce only one or a set of desirable genes without introduction of undesirable genes into the target organism. Okay, so we have to select a donor, we have to select a vector, and we have to select a recipient. Okay, so it permits the isolation and the introduction of only one or a set of desirable genes without the introduction of undesirable genes into the target organism. When an alien DNA is linked with the origin of replication, okay, of a vector or a foreign body, okay, or the recipient, it can replicate and multiply itself in the host organism, right? It is also called the cloning, formation of multiple identical copies of any template or DNA. So we have to select a foreign DNA or a foreign gene which is to be transferred. Then we will select a vector. So vector is having an origin of replication. That origin of replication helps to connect the foreign gene, and the vector inside the bacteria divides and divides to form multiple copies of that particular gene of interest. Understood? So according to European Federation of Biotechnology, biotechnology is the integrated use of biochemistry, microbiology and engineering services in order to achieve technological or industrial application of the capabilities of microorganisms and cultured cells. Okay. So according to European Federation of Biotechnology. Okay. So according to this, Biotechnology is an integrated process which involves various fields, right? Like application of biochemistry, microbiology, okay, and engineering services. Okay, so these are three main important techniques we can say: the formation of rDNA, use of gene cloning, and gene transfer. Now coming to next, the construction of first artificial recombinant DNA molecule was done by Stanley Cohen and Herbert Boyer. Okay. In 1972, they cut the piece of DNA from a plasmid. Cut the piece of DNA. Plasmids, they are the extra chromosomal DNA which can transfer the genes or DNA from one bacterium to the other. They isolated the antibiotic resistant gene from the plasmid of Salmonella typhimurium. Salmonella typhimurium causes typhoid. So they have actually diagnosed, or they have explored a antibiotic resistant gene from the plasmid of Salmonella typhimurium. So this gene of interest, the isolated gene, was linked to the plasmid of DNA ligase. So this isolated gene was linked to the plasmid by DNA ligase enzyme. This makes the recombinant DNA in vitro or under laboratory conditions. So what they have done, they have extracted, first point, extracted the antibiotic resistant gene from Salmonella typhimurium. Okay, then this gene of antibiotic resistant is then added at the restriction or added at the origin of replication of a plasmid. Okay, so they have cut the antibiotic resistant gene from Salmonella typhi, then they have ligated the antibiotic resistant gene to a plasmid of a vector, ligated or joined. Plasmid of vector. Okay. Cutting off a piece of DNA from the plasmid was with the help of restriction enzyme. So here we need the restriction enzyme that are biological scissors or molecular scissors, right? After cutting, they are linked with the plasmid DNA acting as a vector. Linking of the piece of foreign DNA with vector DNA was done with the help of enzyme DNA ligase. So the joining part is done by DNA ligase. Cutting part is done by restriction endonuclease. Now this DNA is known as what? The recombinant DNA, which is having the vector DNA as well as the fragment of antibiotic resistant gene, right? Now, so that is why it is mentioned by cutting with the restriction enzyme, the isolated genes was linked with the plasmid by DNA ligase enzyme. This makes recombinant DNA. Ampicillin resistant gene. This is the ampicillin resistant gene, isolated gene. which is linked to the which is on the bacterial plasmid of Salmonella typhi. Isolate the gene of interest with the help of restriction enzymes. We have cut down this part. Okay, gene of interest. Insert the gene of interest into the plasmid DNA. Okay, so second step is we will insert the piece of gene of interest into plasmid DNA. This is the insertion. Okay, insert the gene of interest into the plasmid DNA. Cut down of both genes of interest and plasmid DNA with the same restriction enzyme. Cutting down of the gene of interest, okay, which is to be ligated, and the plasmid of vector on which is to be ligated, they should be cut on the same with the same knife, same biological scissor, same restriction enzyme. Then after the second point, mix the DNA, add DNA ligase to join the DNA pieces of base pairing. Okay, so now the third point comes that the recombinant DNA plasmid is formed. Okay, after ligation, recombinant DNA plasmid is formed. This is the recombinant DNA plasmid. Okay, the transformed recombinant plasmid into E. coli. So this is the E. coli cell which is having the bacterial DNA and the transformed recombinant plasmid into the E. coli. Now this is the rDNA plasmid or recombinant DNA plasmid. Now it has been cultured on the agarose gel containing ampicillin. Now when ampicillin is added, so many of the colonies, they survive as they have the ampicillin resistant gene, and some of them they don't survive. So it is very important to isolate the genes or the colonies which are survived in ampicillin resistant and the one which are not survive on the ampicillin resistant. Expand the positive clones to exponentially replicate the copies of desired DNA. Then we will isolate the DNA. Test biological properties of your gene of interest. So these are the steps involved in the rDNA technology. Okay. First is cutting of gene of interest with the help of restriction endonuclease. Second, the same restriction endonuclease is used to cut the vector DNA. Then DNA ligase helps to join the vector DNA with the gene of interest. And third, it is transferred to E. coli. Then the E. coli colonies are grown to increase in the number, and then it is isolated. Genetically modified organisms or transgenic organisms. What are genetically modified organisms or transgenic organisms? Okay. One thing more you have to know in the previous slide. Said the E. coli, it will undergo the cloning procedure. Okay. As the DNA polymerase enzyme, in E. coli helps to replicate the gene of interest along with the other chromosomal parts. Okay. Genetically modified organisms or the transgenic organisms. Three basic steps in creating GMOs or genetically modified organisms. First is identification of DNA with desirable genes. We have to identify the DNA with desirable genes. Introduction of the identified DNA into the host. It is not host. It is host. Okay. Introduction of the identified DNA into the host. Maintenance of the introduced DNA in the host and transfer of the DNA into its progeny. Maintenance means creating aseptic conditions. So the first is identification of DNA with desirable genes. Second, introduction of the identified DNA into the host. And third is maintenance of the introduced DNA in the host and transfer of DNA into its progeny. Tools of recombinant DNA. Okay. Now we are going to talk about what are the different tools of recombinant DNA. Three types of biological tools are there in the formation of rDNA, that is enzymes, cloning vectors or vehicle DNA, and competent host. Competent host, why the word competent is used? Because the host should, or should have the origin of replication or ORI sites for getting the foreign gene attached to that part. Okay, that is why it should be competent for the transformation of recombinant DNA. Enzymes are further classified like lysing enzymes. It includes the enzymes which help to open up the cells to get DNA from for the genetic experiments, helps to open up the cellular barriers like cell wall, plasma membrane, etc. The plant cells, they need cellulase for the digestion of cell wall, cellulose, pectinase for the digestion of calcium pactate in the middle lamellae, protease for the digestion of proteins, lipases for the digestion of fats. Animal cells, they need proteases and lipases only as they don't have cellulose and pectin. Fungal cells, they use or they need chitinase for the breaking down of chitin, proteases for the breakdown of proteins, and lipases for the breakdown of lipids. Bacterial cells, they need lysozyme. So lysing enzymes are from for plant cells, cellulase, pectinase, protease and lipase, animal cells, protease and lipase, fungal cells, chitinase, and bacterial cells, lysozyme. Now, the second category is the cleaving enzymes. Cleaving enzymes, these enzymes are used to break DNA molecules. They are of three types: exonucleases, endonucleases, and exoendonucleases. Okay. So exonucleases, endonucleases, and the restriction enzymes or the restriction endonucleases. So exonucleases, endonucleases, and the restriction endonucleases. So restriction enzymes, all the or the molecular scissors, right? In 1963, scientists discovered two enzymes responsible for the restriction of growth of bacteriophage in E. coli. Basically, these restriction enzymes, they are produced by the bacterium to break the foreign DNA. So that is why a restriction modification system is used by these bacterial cells or the plasmid bacterial cells to overcome the genetic manipulation created by any foreign DNA. So first of all, Wemer Arbor in 1965. Weber Arbor in 1965. He identified that okay, this restriction modification system is present in bacterial plasmid. Okay. Enzyme 1, that is the restriction of restriction modification system, enzyme 1, it will add the methyl group to the DNA so that it will not attach to the host. And second is it will cut the DNA at specific sites so that it will be turned into the smaller fragments. This was later termed as restriction endonuclease. The first enzyme which add the methyl group to DNA, it is a part of the modification system. Okay. After getting modified by the addition of methyl group, it will not attach to the host. Restriction enzymes belong to a larger class of enzymes called nucleases. There are two types of nucleases enzymes, exonucleases and endonucleases. Exonucleases, that they cut the DNA nucleotides from ends, okay, at the terminals. Example, BAL31. Endonucleases, they cut the DNA at any point except the ends. Example, hint, 2. Hint second was the first restriction endonuclease enzyme which was discovered. Restriction enzymes are the members of endonucleases. So restriction enzymes, they are the members of endonucleases. So there are three types of cleavage enzymes: exonucleases, endonucleases, and restriction endonucleases. Okay. Types of nucleases. Exonucleases, you can see it is only cutting the terminal part. Endonucleases, they can cut in between. But restriction endonuclease is very specific cutting. Palindromic sequence. Very specific. So we will be talking about these palindromic sequences. Okay. Endonucleases versus exonucleases. Endonucleases, they refers to an enzyme that cleaves the polynucleotide chain, separating the nucleotides other than two end ones. Okay, so endonucleases, they will separate the polynucleotide chains. Nucleotides will be separated other than the end ones. Exonucleases refers to an enzyme that cleaves polynucleotide chain from the end of the chain by removing the nucleotides one by one. Cleave nucleic acid at the middle of the nucleic acids, cleave nucleic acid at the end. Restriction endonucleases undergo a lag period before their activity, does not have a lag period before their activity. Result in oligonucleotides, result in single nucleotides or nucleosides. May form either blunt or sticky end, always form sticky end. Exonucleases, they always form sticky ends. They may block the entry of pathogens, have no significant role in blocking the entry of pathogens. Examples: DNAs like S1 nuclease, restriction enzymes such as BAMH1, HIN3, EcoR1. Examples include snake venom, 3 to 5 exonuclease domain of DNA polymerase 3. Okay, snake venom and 3 to 5 exonuclease domain of DNA polymerase 3. They are exonucleases. So endonucleases and exonucleases. Endonucleases, they cleave DNA at a specific point except the terminal ends. Endonucleases, they cleave one strand or both strands of the double-stranded DNA, and they may cut RNA. They may cut RNA. While exonucleases, they cleave base pairs of DNA at their terminal ends only. Okay. They act on a single strand of DNA or gaps in the double strand of DNA. They do not cut RNA. Do not cut RNA. Restriction endonucleases. First restriction endonuclease to be discovered was HIN2. Restriction endonuclease, it was the first time isolated by Weber-Arber in 1962 in bacteria. They are also known as molecular scissors or biological scissors or scalpels, biological scalpels. In 1978, Arber, Smith and Nathan, they shared Nobel Prize for the same. The restriction enzyme always cut DNA molecules at a point of recognizing specific sequence of base pairs. This sequence is known as recognition sequence. Okay, this is known as what? Recognition sequence. Today, more than 900 restriction enzymes have been isolated from over 230 strains of bacteria with different recognition sequences. Today, more than 900 restriction enzymes have been isolated from over 230 strains of bacteria with different recognition sequences. Difference between types of restriction endonucleases. There are three types of restriction endonucleases. Now, before coming to this, I will make you understand what exactly is palindrome. Okay. Restriction endonucleases, they recognize the base sequence at palindrome sites in DNA, duplex, and cut its strands. For example, restriction endonuclease EcoR1. Suppose there is a restriction endonuclease which is isolated from E. coli, EcoR1. Okay. Now, according to this, suppose this is the gene sequence GAATTC, CTTAAG, 3' end, 5' end, 5' end, 3'. So now the restriction endonuclease EcoR1 will recognize the base sequence, okay, and it will cut the strands between G and A. Between G and A. It will cut here. So after cutting, what will happen? There will be the formation of overhangings. There will be the formation of overhangings. Okay, like this. Overhangings. Understood? These overhangings, they help to join the, now you can see if you move from 5' to 3' direction or 3' to 5' direction, okay, if you move from 5' to 3' direction and from 3' to 5' direction, it's same, okay, there is no difference. GAATTC 5' to 3', 5' to 3', GAATTC. So this is known as what? Palindromic sequence. Like Malayalam. Malayalam is also a palindromic sequence. Okay, in which if you move from right side to left side, then also if you move from left side to right side, then also. So now the different restriction enzymes. Type 1 restriction enzymes. The restriction enzymes type 2 is generally used in genetical manipulations, okay, because there is no need of ATP for cleaving action and it makes the cleavage or cut in both the strands of DNA molecule. So type 2 most commonly used. The reason is do not require ATP for cleaving action and it makes cut at both the strands. Restriction and modification activities. Type 1 single multifunctional enzyme. Type 2 separate endonuclease and methylase enzyme. Methylase is enzyme number 1 and endonuclease is enzyme number 2. Type 3 separate enzymes with a subunit is common. So type 1 there is single multifunctional enzyme. There is no differentiation between methylase and endonuclease. Okay. A same enzyme will work as a methylase as well as endonuclease. Type 2, there are two different enzymes. First will be methylase and the second one will be endonuclease. Third, the separate enzymes with a subunit in which the subunit is common. Okay. The protein structure of enzyme. Type 1, 3 different subunits. Type 2, simple. Type 3, 2 different subunits. So the protein structure of enzyme in type 1 is that three subunits are there. Type 2 simple and type 3 2 subunits are there. Requirements for restriction. What are the different requirements for restriction? ATP, Mg2 plus S-adenosyl, Mg2 plus methionine. Type 2, no requirement. That is why it is best. Okay. Type 3, ATP, Mg2 plus S-adenosyl methionine. Okay. So ATP, Mg2 plus S-adenosyl methionine is also required in type 1 and type 3. Type 2 is no requirement. Sequence for host specificity sites. Type 1 is having a sequence like which is mentioned over here, and the type 2 it is having rotational symmetry, means palindromic sequence, and type 3 also it is specific. Cleavage sites, type 1 possibly random at least 1000 base pairs, type 2 at or near host specific site, and type 3 24 to 26 base pairs to 3' end of the host specific site. Enzymatic turnover, type 1 no, type 2 yes, and type 3 also yes. DNA translocation, type 1 yes, type 2 no because of methylation, and type 3 no because of methylation. Site of methylation, host specific, host specific, host specific. Okay. So type 1, type 2, type 3, these are three different enzymes. The main thing you have to remember that type 2, it doesn't require ATP for cleaving action, and it cuts at both the ends. Okay. Now type 1, it is having a single multifunctional enzyme having three subunits. Protein structure is of three subunits. Type 2 protein structure is simple. Again, type 3 protein structure is having two subunits. Okay. Then ATP, Mg2 plus and S-adenosyl methionine for restriction is needed for both type 1 and type 3. Type 2 no requirement. Type 1, they recognize specific sites of DNA but do not cut these sites. Okay, type 1, they recognize but they do not cut. Type 2, they recognize and they cut as well. Type 3, they recognize within the DNA but do not cut these sites. So these are the different characteristics of different restriction endonucleases, type 1, type 2 and type 3. Now restriction endonucleases, which are the second enzyme. These restriction enzymes, their nomenclature, I will be telling you a nomenclature. First you can see that the name of the source is Arthrobacter luteus. Okay, so Arthrobacter luteus. Before coming to this slide, I will make you understood that first letter comes from the genus. The naming of restriction enzyme is like that. It is the nomenclature part of restriction enzymes. The first letter comes from genus, second and third letter come from the species, and fourth letter comes from bacterial strain. Now, the first letter from genus A, second and third letter comes from the species LU, and the Roman numeral, it defines that this enzyme is or was the first enzyme to be isolated. Okay, so the first letter already mentioned, first letter genus, second, third species. Okay, fourth letter comes from bacterial strain. Roman numbers after names show the order in which the enzyme was isolated, like ECO R1. So E genus, CO species, R is the bacterial strain, and 1 is what? That this enzyme was isolated first. So Arthrobacter luteus, ALU1, recognition equation is between G and C. Between G and C. Okay. Product, blunt ends. BAMH1, source Bacillus amyloliquefaciens H. So B for Bacillus, AM for AM amylo, and H. Okay, the recognition site is between between G and G. Sticky ends. ECO R1, E. coli RY13, GA, between GA. sticky ends, Eco R2, Escherichia coli R245, with or behind C at the back of the C, mean at the terminals, blunt ends, Haemophilus agaptes or agaptii, between G and C, blunt ends, Haemophilus influenza in third, sticky ends, AA between AA, then HIND2, the first discovered restriction endonuclease Haemophilus influenza RD, between C and G, blunt ends. So ALU, Arthropactor luteus, the recognition sequences between G and C in the middle, blunt ends. BAM-H1, recognition sequence between G and G at the terminal, sticky ends. Escherichia coli, between the terminal ends, GA, sticky ends. EcoR2, Escherichia coli, behind C, okay, blunt ends. Haemophilus agaptes, blunt ends. Haemophilus influenza, sticky ends. Haemophilus influenza, blunt ends, okay. Streptomyces albus, sticky ends. Streptomyces Casposius, blunt ends, and Serratia mariescens, blunt ends. All are having blunt ends except the Streptomyces albus. This is the restriction enzyme naming I have already told you, like the E. coli RY13 to ECO R strain Y13. Okay. Escherichia, Haemophilus, BAM-H1, Bacillus. Strain R D H I third one. Okay, so it is the order of the isolation. Now the function of restriction endonucleases, the mechanism of restriction enzyme. Each restriction endonucleases recognizes a specific palindromic nucleotide sequence in the DNA. Palindrome in DNA is a sequence of base pairs that read the same on the two strands when orientation of reading is kept same. So palindrome in DNA is a sequence of these base pairs that reads same on the two strands when orientation of reading is kept same. Plane of cutting, blunt end or sticky ends. Cut both the strands of DNA through the center. These are known as symmetric cuts. As a result, two blunt ends are formed. Sticky end cut in a way producing protruding or recessed ends means the overhangings. These are known as asymmetric cuts. Okay. As a result, DNA fragments with a single-stranded extension form. Now you can see the sticky ends. This is the recognition side. The sticky end will be. You can see. Like this. So this is the recognition sequence, complementary overhangs, blunt end, no overhangs, uniform edges, no overhangs. Okay. So that is why the sticky ends and both the blunt ends, they are produced by restriction enzyme according to the recognition site and according to the restriction endonuclease. So that will be all for today. We will be meeting in the next class dealing with the different steps of working in the formation of the rDNA, that is all these restriction sites and all. Okay. Till then, bye bye. Take care. Stay safe, everyone. Stay healthy.